family. My name is Vicki Dillard for African Diaspora News Channel. Thank you so much for tuning in, family. Now, perhaps some of you all have heard by now that former Vice President Kamala Harris and, of course, former presidential candidate Kamala Harris has written a new book, family, after losing, and more losing. She decides to come out with her book, which lets us know she's already plotting some sort of political return. They just like to lay the groundwork by putting stuff out there. Of course, she has received a whole lot of pushback for losing. So when you are a loser, losers come up with losing reasons, you understand? So that's what she's doing here. Now, for Black Americans, when she was running for president, remember before she dropped out early on, when she couldn't even win her own state. Okay, but never mind. Black folks had already told her, warned her that she did not have a good chance. I'm talking about real Black Americans who count, who matter, meaning the people that, the average Black man and woman. I'm not talking about the elite boule that get little crumbs and benefits and will sell the masses of Black people out just so they can secure a lawn landscaping job at the White House. No, baby, a lot of folks are really, really tripping with her right now for losing, because we already told her in advance, ma'am, you can't disproportionately lock us up. And then when you're running for president, a Black journalist asks you about reparations and you make it real clear that what you're not going to do for Black people, that's not a winning strategy. So we knew she was going to lose. So she negotiated behind the scene with Joe Biden. She dropped out of the race. He ended up getting the momentum. He ended up winning. And then he ended up picking her as vice president. She was supposed to be poised to win the presidency. He ended up, of course, before announcing that he was not going to run for re-election, endorsing Kamala Harris, there was a whole big brouhaha behind that. And of course, she's, of course, still ended up losing, as we knew she would. Well, beloved, in case you don't know, right now, I'm reading from an ABC News article that headline says, Kamala Harris's new book rubs some Democrats the wrong way. After the Democrats did all that shucking and jiving and basically wagging their finger in our face and trying to cuss us out over Kamala. Now they talk about she's rubbing them the wrong way. You see how you just stay out the way and let people destroy themselves? It says former Vice President Kamala Harris has released a new book titled 107 Days, which offers a candid book at her brief 2024 presidential campaign and critiques several aspects of her own party. Harris reflects on her decision not to confront former President Joe Biden about his choice of whether or not to seek re-election. Biden had been under pressure after questions about his age, cognitive state, and ability to serve out another term, which ultimately led to him dropping out of the race and endorsing Kamala. Of course, those are the things that I just alluded to just a moment ago. Now, quote, was that grace to not bring it up to him, or was it reckless? And on my part, I do reflect on that and feel that it was a reckless about not raising it with him. Now that sounds really weird. That's her word salad as always. She said that when she was on Good Morning America, if you didn't understand what I said, I understand because I didn't understand what I said. Because that's how Kamala does. She confuses us. Throw us for loops. Talk back to me, somebody. And that's just that. Now, it says here how Pennsylvania Democratic Governor Josh Shapiro, appearing on Stephen A. Smith's new political show, seemed to suggest that Harris would have to take accountability for not having some of the conversations about re-election with former President Biden. Quote, she's going to have to answer to how she was in the room, yet never anything publicly, he told Smith, while also saying he had not yet read the book. Harris also reveals her decision to pass over former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg as her vice presidential pick. She writes talking about some stuff. I'm going to skip over that because it's not as important. I just want to give you a little background to let you know a little bit about the book, the name of the book, and that it's been acknowledged in mainstream media that a lot of Democrats are really upset with her that she's rubbed them the wrong way. Well, I was listening to some coverage from a Black female Democrat strategist by the name of Ashley Etienne. I've discussed her in times past because she reveals some, I'm talking about some breaking news information, which I did that broadcast sometime back. It got a lot of great response. A lot of folks, we made it go viral here, actually. when we exposed a lot of what I didn't just do it here, but I did it on another social media platform, where we exposed something that she said when she worked in Washington, D.C. and when she was with the Obama campaign. She broke down some behind the scenes stuff that most folks did not know anything about. So this lady, even though I don't necessarily agree with her in terms of that Kamala did so many wonderful things as a politician, she is honest about some other stuff here. Watch this clip.
I've read the book. And so for me, I mean, as a strategist and as an advisor, I would have advised the vice president to write a different book. I would have advised her to write a book that actually cements her legacy. I mean, she's bad. I mean, she's broken every glass ceiling at every stage of her career. She's gotten more votes nationally than any other Democratic presidential candidate. She was instrumental in passing some of the biggest pieces of legislation we've seen in my lifetime: infrastructure, the gun reform bill. She led on voting rights and reproductive rights. I mean, she has an incredible story to tell. And I think from my perspective, that's the story that my daughter, your daughter, Jamal's daughter, the next generation needs to hear. That's the type of book that stands the test of time. And I think the concern here is that this book will not stand the test of time. I don't think we'll be talking about this book much longer, regrettably. And I think it was a missed opportunity for her to address her real Achilles heel, which is there's still questions about who is Kamala Harris. She had every opportunity in 300 pages to tell us who she actually is, what she actually achieved, why she was a better candidate over Donald Trump. And like none of that comes across in any of those pages. So I just would have advised her to write a different book. Quickly. That again, my daughters,
Laura,
all these generations of young women would have been able to really resonate with them and really give them a guide. She's the blueprint. And I think she should have written that book.
White House never quite figured out how to use her best as a person who could go out in the country, be an emissary of the president, gather information, and bring it back. I just don't think it worked out very well.
Jamal, let me tell you, we've been in this town for a long time. Power isn't given. You have to go and take it. She points out that she had an unprecedented opportunity, 12 reporters following her around. I mean, Joe Biden gave her a lot of room that he never got. So you don't sit around and wait for someone to make space for you. You got to take it. And that's the advice we all of us will be giving our daughters going forward, and anyone else that wants to occupy the Oval Office, is you don't sit back and wait. You just take it.
A whole word. Jamal, Ashley, thank you both.
Yeah. Did y'all see how she diplomatically said, yeah, this ain't it, sis. Yeah. Yeah. You had some other wins. It was all right. Yeah. And how she breaks down like this. She said Joe Biden didn't even get a lot of the leeway that Kamala had. She's letting her know, sis, you cannot hide behind Joe Biden while you didn't take power, girl. You can't do that. Shout out to the sister for putting that out there, because you can't. And we knew you couldn't. Yeah. So now all the Democrats mad. Now the question that you need to ask yourself, family, is how, once again, do we here in the Black grassroots media, Black independent alternative media, how we keep getting it right? And the Democrats take some months and Sundays to come to the right conclusion. Where's my gavel? If you don't know, the Vicki Show was a home of the hand claps and the gavel raps. That means sometimes I clap my hands and sometimes I bam my gavel. I've had the revelation of the gavel for almost 20 years now, and I brought it with me online, beloved. I'm an old school baby, originator of that baby in some of these spaces. But if you don't know what I mean, months and Sundays, that's a Southern statement meaning a long time. That's from the Victionary, not the dictionary. Victionary is my book of words. So, fam, I can't wait to hear what you have to say about it. Why is it it's important that we reflect on these things? You cannot say Kamala losing is old news. When you want to take power in the future, you pay attention to political and power strategies and you revisit them so that you'll know what to implement, what to do, what to learn from, how to be both defensive and offensive in your approach. Only a little sheep will say, well, why are we talking about old news? You don't know how power works. So just sit back and let us figure it out. My name is Vicki Dillard, beloved. Be sure to check out my website, folks. In fact, ask me about my gavel. I sell mini gavels, which is half the size of this. You can put your whole hand around it, but it's tiny. I do some spiritual work on it, beloved. Get your mini gavels at my website at VickiPlanet.com. I've got a lot of other yummy products and services. Check for my content here on African Diaspora News channel, both the YouTube and the app. Download the app. How many of y'all know we're in multiple places? Be sure to download the app. I'm Vicki Dillard. I can't wait to see you again, and go to my website at VickiPlanet.com.